Cloud security pros use this one trick to catch attackers. Did I meet my SEO requirements for the month? Today we're going to create one of the most useful security alerts you can enable for your account or your organization. There are multiple times this one has saved my butt, and a few times it would have saved me if I hadn't been an idiot and forgot to create it. It can catch a wide range of attacks and mistakes, especially ones that don't trigger other threat detectors. What is it? Well, we're going to talk about billing alerts because pretty much everything we do in the cloud costs money. And even though all the accounts we're using for these labs are on the AWS free tier, it's really easy to make a mistake and rack up some hefty charges. The free tier is awesome, but it does have some limits. And if you build or secure non-training environments, like the ones you would use at work, you won't be on the free tier for long, or you might never have the chance to use it. One of the best ways to detect these kinds of security and operational issues is to put in place a billing alert. Let me give you two examples where I didn't put these in place and I lived to regret it. So the first time was one of my early Amazon accounts. This was over 10 years ago. And for that account, I was doing some demonstration work and I released some code up on GitHub. I think if you've been doing this for a little bit, you kind of know where this story is headed. In my main file, I didn't have any static credentials, but I had an access key and a secret key for an IAM user, stuff we're going to cover later, in one of my other files in that directory. I accidentally uploaded that file. Bad guys found it. They used it to access my account, and then they launched some extra large instances in regions I wasn't using and used them for Litecoin mining. They racked up about $500 in a few days. Now, I caught it. I wrote a blog post about it. Amazon forgave the charges, but still, it could have been a lot worse. And if you go read that old blog post and some of the comments, there are people that have lost tens of thousands of dollars to crypto mining, which to this day is still one of the biggest sources of attacks on Amazon accounts. The other time was more of an operational issue. When we were starting Disrupt Ops, that was the company that Firemont acquired to build our cloud defense product. But in the earlier days, we were doing a lot of working with different architectural things. And so we switched to using short-lived containers, and we had Amazon Config running in the account. Now, if you don't know, Config is a service that tracks changes and can actually use rules to detect things like misconfigurations. The problem is this config can be kind of expensive. And when we switched to using these short-lived containers instead of our experimental long-lived ones during development, all of a sudden we were creating and destroying a whole bunch of resources, especially network interfaces and security groups, every time one of those containers launched. That was adding to our config bill, and it went from like $100 to multiple thousands of dollars in 1 month. It was a development account. We didn't have billing alerts in place. We learned our lesson. So look, these are examples of one real-world security and one real-world operational mistake, and I made both of them myself. But for our training, it's going to be especially important to put these billing alerts in place because I don't want this to cost you a lot of money. I'm not releasing this training for free just to make Amazon a ton of money on the back end because you guys are running a lot of stuff in your environments. We're going to try and keep things as close to free as possible. But you might make mistakes and leave something running, or maybe you'll have a security incident and suffer an attack. And so these billing alerts are going to help us make sure that you stay under a dollar amount every month and you have more awareness of what you are spending in Amazon. But it's also very useful to catch potential security issues, especially things like that cryptocurrency mining. I mean, billing alerts can catch a range of these issues. Anything that uses a lot of resources, and anytime an attacker gets into your account and uses those resources. Beyond cryptocurrency mining, you can also perhaps use it to detect data exfiltration if it's large data sets, or just overall abuse of what you have in your environment, such as using your account to attack other accounts. Now, realistically, these billing alerts are late indicators. Amazon is going to add these charges to your account pretty quickly, but it's only when the attacker exceeds a threshold that you'll get that billing alert and then you still have to investigate. But it's still better than no indicator. And as I've said, you're going to want this for operational reasons as well as you want it for security reasons. One of the most classic examples is like a developer who spins something up and then forgets to turn it off when they go home over the weekend. It's really shockingly easy to accidentally spend more than you intend in any of the cloud providers. Believe me, later I'm going to tell you some Azure stories once we start doing some Azure labs. So the nice thing is billing alerts also make you look a little bit like a superhero to your accounting department. It's a way that you in security can help save your organization money. Now, there's one downside to it, and it's a pretty big downside, which is that you have to use your root account. Now, you don't have to use your root account all the time, but your billing console is locked to your root account when you first set it up. And so we need to go in using your root account to make a couple of changes so that our other accounts can access your billing data. For this lab, we're going to do it just the way you would do it for real. You use your root account, you go in, you change that setting, you get out, and then we're going to use our administrative user for all of the actual work that we're going to use as part of the lab. So what are the key points today? Well, billing alerts are going to trigger when you exceed a spending limit in your Amazon account. You can set it to be whatever you want. They can help detect any kind of an attack that increases your cloud usage and your resource usage. And the most common one we see there is for crypto mining. But billing alerts will also help you detect many operational issues. They're extremely important in these kind of lab environments because we are experimenting and using a lot of new and different services, and it's very easy to make a mistake and go over our budget. With all that said, let's go ahead and jump into the lab. The first thing we want to do is log in as your root account user. Now, if you've gone into the default sign-in page, there's a couple of different ways it might look like. This is probably where you'll start if you've been following along with the labs, where you put in your account ID, username, and password. Instead, you want to click on the link that says sign in using your root account email. Now, at this point, I'm going to pause the video, but you want to use your root account email, that root account password, and don't forget, this will be the MFA, the multi-factor authentication that we set up for the root account, not the ones that we set up for your admin user. Those are distinct for each individual identity that's involved. So pull out that username, that password, that MFA, and log in as your root account. Now that I'm logged in as my root account user, there's a hidden little setting that you have to know about so that you can allow other users to see billing information. Go into the upper right-hand corner and click on the name for the account there and go to account. You'd think it'd be under billing. It's not. It's actually under your account settings. So then we're going to go ahead and scroll down through the account settings, and you'll see here, not quite there yet. IAM user enroll access to billing information. Right now, nobody except the root account can see billing information. We want to allow this so you don't have to use the root account to see billing info. Let's click on that little box there, activate IAM access, click update. Then we will go to sign out. That's all you should have to do to enable that. Now click sign in, select IAM user, and log in with your regular account credentials. So in my case, it's going to be that RMogul user, my administrative user. Do not log back in with your root account. Log in as that IAM user. I'm going to pause the video for a second just so I can get logged in and you don't have to see me fumble with my MFA. One quick additional tip here is that if you ever forget your account ID, you can always look at your MFA, depending on how you stored it. But like in my Authy app that I have up and running, my account ID is actually listed as the identifier for that account. So that's a nice little trick if you forget it or if you didn't write it down. The other option is you can always log back in using the root account, but that's not something you want to be doing. Now I'm logged in as my IAM user, that administrative user. Click on that name and go to Billing and Cost Management. Because we have administrative permissions already, we can see a lot of the information here. And we should be able to go ahead and set up our billing alert. There is a chance I'm wrong, and if I am, we'll figure that out, and I know where to do the fix in IAM. So we have our budget status, cost anomaly status. You can see all of your current bills and your predictions. Let's go to bills. You can see that I have a 3-cent charge on my account right now. I'm going to scroll down and go to Billing Preferences. You can see here that we have some of our free tier alerts that's built in. You'll get emails to that root account email based on if you are exceeding the free tier. What we want to add now is CloudWatch billing alerts. I'll go to Edit and click Receive CloudWatch billing alerts. And we can also put in an additional optional email. So I'm going to use my regular personal email on this one and click Update. Now, both CloudWatch billing alerts and our regular alerts are going to be delivered to that email address. With our alert preferences set, now we need to actually create the CloudWatch billing alert. To do this, go up to Services, do the search, and search on CloudWatch. From the main CloudWatch page, you want to go ahead and click on that little drop arrow for alarms and click on All Alarms. Then click on Create Alarm. Now, if we'll go ahead and click Select Metric, you'll notice you don't see billing here. And if your screen looks a little different, what I'm about to have you do is going to go ahead and fix that anyway. That's because all billing happens in US East 1. Or sorry, US East 1. So click on this down box and select US East 1, Virginia. Now you'll see the metrics that we need. Click on Billing, and then Total Estimated Charge. You can actually do billing on a per service level, but for this billing alert, we want to do Total Estimated Charge. From here, click on the box for USD metrics and then select metric. Now, this is going to be monitoring this and do alerts every 6 hours. I think 6 hours is fine. There's not much of a charge for this. Down here, you've got your threshold. I don't think we want it to be $10,000. So why don't we just set that for, $25. This will give me an alert anytime that I exceed $25 in a given month. And now click Next. We can, from here, select an existing SNS topic. Now, if you remember, we created that SNS topic in one of our previous labs. It was in our CloudFormation lab. So we'll select that SNS topic. And click on that down box, and it will go to our security alerts. Now, at this point, our topic has no subscriptions. Actually, nobody who's subscribed to that topic, so there's no place where that notification is going to go. Click on View in the SNS console. You could probably do it there. I've never done it there before, though, and don't want to try too much new on this one lab. This is where we can actually go ahead and we will set up our subscription. I want you just to have this page open because we'll come back to it in just a moment after we finish saving our alert. We're going to scroll down. There's all sorts of other stuff. We don't care about any of that, but we do want to have a name, and we'll just call it Billing Alert, and click Next. Scroll down and click Create Alarm. We have our billing alert. You'll notice insufficient data because it hasn't run yet. Don't worry about that at all. Now, the problem we have, and probably what that warning is we have not subscribed to that SNS topic yet. Click back on the tab for that SNS topic and create subscription. This is the only topic we have. You don't have to worry about anything, but click on Protocol and go to Email. And then for Endpoint, put your email in. Now, we had a little bit of this set up before, but this is going to be the best way to get the email for any of these alarms. Click Create Subscription. Now, the next thing you have to do is you'll have your subscription here. And if I click on Security Alerts, actually you can see it right on the screen, pending confirmation. How do you fix that? Well, all you need to do, go to your email and you'll see an email from Amazon that you click on to subscribe to the alert. And you don't need to be logged in or anything. It's just a regular, like any validate this subscription from your email. I'm going to go pause the video for a moment just to go snag that out of my email and pop it up on the screen here so you can see it. I went over to my email, I pulled it up, and I dragged it over to the screen so you could see it. It'll look just like this with some different identifiers in it. click Confirm Subscription. Confirming the subscription, and we are all set. That's all you need to do. We now have our billing alert completely set up. As a review of the steps, first, we need to log into the root account and we need to enable IAM users to see the billing information. Because we already have a full admin user, we can gain access to the data we need at that point. Then we logged back in as our administrative user and we went into the billing area and we changed a couple of settings so that we could actually get these alerts. And then we moved over to CloudWatch and we built the alarm in CloudWatch. A very simple alarm. As a reminder, make sure you select US East 1, even though all of our other labs are everywhere else. For this one, you do need to be in US East 1 because that's where Amazon handles all of the billing information. We created that metric and we sent it to that simple notification service topic that we had previously created. Now, Amazon's gotten a little smart and it said, hey, no one is subscribed to this topic. So we popped open another tab and then we went into the simple notification service and we subscribed with our email address. All this is all wired together now. And anytime my bill is going to exceed $25, I'm going to get an email. Now, I should not see that for a long time in these labs, especially because I'm using this lab account just for these labs right alongside the rest of you. But this is something that I have set up in most of my other accounts. And it's kept me from problems before. I leave something running, or if I had opened something up for an attack, and I haven't had one of those in a while, but had I had this alarm, 10 years ago, it definitely would have saved me some headaches. Nice, easy. It's giving you security benefits. It's giving you operational benefits. And if you set this up in your organization, it's going to make you very popular with accounting and probably not too popular with the developers who turn stuff on and forget to turn it off. Thanks for joining me this week, and we'll see you soon.